Hey everybody, it's Kim. I hope you don't mind my guest today. I am trying to get this video done for you, but this is like take, I don't know, 20 something because this is Roxy, by the way. She was over there screaming. My other birds are being extremely loud and keep buzzing my head. The dogs are barking, but anyway, you don't need to know about all that or whether you care or not. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you about a subject that most homesteaders and preppers and a lot of people really do not bring into these subjects of things like preparedness, like I like to be, okay? Hence the channel, My Life Prepared or Life Prepared, okay? I've lived through a lot of these scenarios I'm going to talk about here, and I hope you stick with me because I find this subject very important. When we think about what could happen, as a prepper, we prepare for things like food shortages, maybe a job loss or things like that, thinking, we have to be able to eat and heat our houses and things like that. But the one subject that I haven't seen on any other channels, whether it be homesteaders or prepping channels, is why it's important to have a solid budget. I know budget, that B word, a lot of people don't like it. You glaze over. I get it. It's not a fun thing to do, but really, once you get it set up, it's not that bad. Why do I believe everyone should have a budget plan? Whether you want to be radical and do a zero-based budget, which I'm getting back to basics to do for many reasons, which we'll go over in just a minute. But what really brought this to the forefront for me was well over 20 years ago. I was living the good life. I worked full time. My children were, in their late teenage years, early adult years. My husband was self-employed. He had a great business. We made a lot of money. And one day all of that changed. The whole world went through this just a couple of years ago. This drastic shift from what we were used to the chaos that ensues when your life is literally flipped upside down. Businesses close, people get sick, emergencies happen. My life has been all of that. Back a little over 20 years ago, we found out my husband was sick. He went downhill very quickly. He lost his business. He could no longer work. There was no unemployment. There is no disability unless you pay a huge amount when you're self-employed. We had house payments. We were doing well at the time. We both had very good, fairly high-paying jobs. We had a mortgage. We had new cars. We had a boat. We had vacation property. And all of a sudden, everything is at risk. That's when I realized how important learning to budget is, and most importantly, making sure as part of your budget, you're prepared for those unexpected events that could devastate a family in the future. So, how did I get here? My husband passed away almost 15 years ago now. I was bankrupt. I had bills I couldn't pay. I'm now a single female. And I started to panic because I didn't know where my life was going. One thing that I could control was where my money was coming from and where I wanted to spend it. What I needed to spend it on versus what I wanted to spend it on. And now I'm back in the golden years of my life where I'm on Social Security. Okay, I do get a widow's benefit, so I started a couple years younger than a lot of people wait. They have to wait. I started collecting when I was 60. But at 55, I have a terrific job. I'm making 6 figures a year. And we get a memo that says everybody in this certain area age range needed to come to these meetings. I was 55 years old, and I was told that I needed to retire because the company was downsizing and they were looking to save some money. Well, from a corporation standpoint, they made sense, okay? You get rid of all the people who have in excess of 20 years, who are closest to retirement. Some of us were over the age of retirement, but they enjoyed working or they had expenses. And here I go and I put a lot of money into my retirement at that time. So I was easily taking home about $6,000 a month to my severance package, which was $500 a month for 2 years. And that's only if I didn't get another job in the meantime. Well, stubborn me, I wanted to ride it out for that 2 years because I felt they owed it to me. And on top of that, they tied up our 401k and all this money I had set aside in case something were to happen so that we can't touch it till we're 65. So I have 10 years to figure out how I'm going to live, right? And I could go, as a nurse, I could have gone out and gotten another job, but I had moved because this was before the world shut down. I was telecommuting as a nurse case manager because I have health issues. I can't work in a hospital. I can't, do a lot of direct patient care. So I was telecommuting. I only had to be in the Detroit area 1 day a month. So I moved to my little homestead here in Michigan. Okay. Now I have to figure out how I'm going to live. I did make some very good choices when I moved, more because I was worried about my health, making it so I couldn't work. So when I moved, I purchased a place. It's not my dream home by any means. It's a very nice home. I love my area I live in. I have great neighbors. But I bought something that I could pay off very quickly. When I purchased this place in 2015, I took out a very small mortgage. The rest of everything went into paying for the property, and I had it paid off in 3 years. Okay. This was luckily before they decided to pull the rug out from all of us old people and kick us out of our company. But, I won't get into that. A lot of you went through this when everything shut down. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people still haven't recovered from it. So understand, I know exactly where you're coming from. That fear, that worry, that, how am I going to live? So that's why I think it's important to get your budget done now. Figure out, and there's a million budgeting apps out there. You have to find the one that works best for you. I'm the old, paper and pencil kind of person. This is what works for me. I like to be able to see my numbers, play with them, rearrange them a lot. We don't have internet where I live. I only have my telephone. I don't even have a computer because we don't have internet service. I do everything via my Android phone. So the paper and pencil works out great for me. And I'm hoping that at least I sparked a little, question in your mind if this is something you should do, if it's something you should revisit. Maybe you have a budget, but you haven't looked at it in several months. I haven't looked at mine in over a year, to be honest. I just kind of floated along because I had a really, really good cushion, okay? I had at least 5 months worth of all of my bills saved up as an emergency fund that I didn't have to worry about until this year. Within the last year, I got down to 0 in my emergency fund. Not only did I get so bad, but I had to take my penny jar to the credit union to make sure I didn't go below balance, where I started having to pay huge fees because, you have to have, I have to maintain, and I'm telling you, I only have to maintain $5 in my account, but I took it below that. And before my next Social Security check was due, they would take those fees out and it would put me in the negative. And if you've ever overdrawn an account, some of them charge you daily for overdrawing, and it could be a negative 40, negative 40, negative 40, negative 40. Well, if this happened to me, let's say August 31st, and my current Social Security was today, September 13th, I could have a lot of money in the negatives that I would owe this credit union. So this is why I am going back to basics. I am looking at my budget. I am going to tweak every penny I need to build that emergency fund back up, because I do not want to be sitting at zero. Not only am I at zero, but I have a huge credit card debt because the emergencies that happened this year were ridiculous for us. I have, as you guys, if you know me, I have several pets, this one included. And this is something I took on, so I know I'm responsible for them, their health, their lives, their well-being. I have 3 older dogs. My youngest one is 11, and all 3 of them have had some very, very high vet bills this year. So my credit card debt is 90% vet related since the end of last year. And I've been, just kind of making a little above that minimum payment. My goal is to have that completely gone as quickly as possible. Once I get my emergency fund fully going, which to me, I'm going to start with a goal of $1,000. That doesn't cover a month's bills, but it's better than nothing. Actually, I'm going to start with $200, $300, for whatever I can save, okay? And then I'm going to get those credit card paid off, get the vet bills done, and start saving that, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month as we go on. There are a billion apps out there. There's tons and tons of websites, tons and tons of YouTubes to tell you exactly how to set up your budget. I can't do that for you. I could tell you how I budget on one paycheck a month. Everything I find right now is every weekly or bi-weekly paychecks, maybe twice a month paychecks. But a lot of seniors don't make YouTube channels that talk about budgeting, and they're stuck on once a month. And how do you get to the end of the month when bad things happen and you have no money left? Okay, so I don't want to get to this point where I have to worry about taking my penny jar back, hoping luckily there was like $18 in my penny nickel jar, and I had that $5 and a little bit of money in my pocket so I could pick up a couple things that I needed, like a prescription, before I got my check this month. So I hope you stuck with me to the end. I know it's not a conversation anybody enjoys having, but I'll talk a little bit in future videos about what items that I find important to budget for. Again, your budget is going to be completely different. You may have children. I have pets. You may have, 2 people in your family that have to agree on this budget, whether it be a spouse or a significant other. Maybe you have, obviously you're going to have different bills than what I do. I live in the country. The only utility bill I have is my electric, but I have to provide for my own well, my own septic, my own trash, plowing the roads, that kind of stuff. So besides the vet bills this year, we were hit with appliance repairs. We had to have our tractor repaired. We had to have a new well put in, which was a well pump, which was very expensive. Never, if you live in the city or you haven't had to up to this point, I've only been here 8 years. First time I've dealt with a well, holy moly. That was a totally unexpected expense. That was a lot more than anticipated, at least double what I thought. But I'm getting back to basics here. I want everybody to understand my life prepared is all over the place. You'll see me doing things from budgeting food to budgeting money to gardening to living my life. But this is what I need to do to be accountable to myself, take care of myself and these little guys. So I hope you stick with me. If you know of any great budgeting apps that you want to share, Like I said, I'm a pen and paper kind of person. Please leave them in the comments below in case anybody else is looking for something like that. My budget, as I've repeated repeatedly, is going to be completely different. Some things I have reverted back to the old ways I did more than 20 years ago before the internet was really big. I'm going to set up a certain amount of cash only because I am much more accountable to cash than I am to a debit or a credit card. If I have $25 left in my grocery budget and I go to the store and I find something, and maybe I find a snack that I haven't had before and I want that, or I find something on a just a whim. Maybe today I decided to get, ouch, stop biting my ear, you little booger. Maybe I decided to get some ice cream that I hadn't budgeted for. Well, if I have my debit card or my credit card, that little bit, it's only an extra $5. Or, you know what, that plus those crackers I forgot I wanted, that's only an extra $12. If I have cash, you know what, I don't have that extra $12. I look in my basket and I say, you know what do I really want? If I really want that ice cream, I'll put something back. Maybe I'll put back 2 loaves of bread and decide to bake it this week. So anyway, we'll get into all that later. I appreciate if you stuck with me this long because I know I do get rather chatty, and I apologize for that, but that's me. What can I say? Comments, questions, please leave them in the link below. If you have budget resources, leave them in the link below. If you budget yourself and you have your own channel, please let me know in the link below. I want to support you as much as I hope you want to support me in life, in preparing, in getting used to living, a little different from what we may be used to. So anyway, I hope you, come back and revisit my budget. I'm going to do a little series on that. And I'll show you some other things that I got into to make it a little bit fun. Budgeting doesn't have to be boring. And there's a lot of channels on that, which I will mention in my upcoming videos. So you guys, I hope you are well and happy, and I really hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And please come back and see me. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up to help me in the algorithms. It's much appreciated, more than you will ever know. And God bless everybody.